Before the interstate system took over, the mid-1900s American adventurers took to the highways and byways of the country. Along the way, you could count on motel courts to be a safe and lively stopping point. But since, most are all abandoned and gone. If you're interested in the stories of places like this, please subscribe here at American Abandoned as we take our first steps through touring the Mississippi Delta by stopping off at the historic Journey Motel Court on the southwest edge of Memphis, Tennessee. So what is a motel court? I feel like that's an important place to start this story. And what a motel court is if you've seen an old film where there was a flat tire while somebody was driving and they end up in a gas station with a service center and they said, it'll take us a few days to get it fixed up. You can grab a warm bite to eat in a hotel room or a bed, however they want to say it. Well, they were probably at a motel court. And it's kind of like a food court, but for cars, in the sense that you'd have a gas station, a service center, restaurant, and a motel right there. And that's what the Journey Motel Court was on the outskirts of Memphis, Tennessee. This was one of the last stops as you left the city and you were going out into the countryside to adventure through the Blues Trail, which is going to be something we speak more to in this channel coming forward. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to keep up with that one. But this one is particularly the Journey Motel Court. And this one is kind of light on history. I did a bit of searching, and thanks to a blog by Josh Whitehead at Creme de la Memphis, if I've got that wrong, it'll be linked down in the description so that you can see it. But there was, well, that's kind of what this was. There was a gas station with a restaurant and a motel and a service center. And looks like it was, the building was either built or rebuilt in 1943, which was just ahead of the boom of modern hotels with Holiday Inn coming in this area, oddly enough, which makes that pretty cool. Again, 1943 is when this building was here. It was just ahead of the interstate system, and like I said, once the interstate system come along, it kind of buried places like this because people could go a little faster in other directions. But let's talk about what we've got here, like what's left. Because not everything that was here is left. It started to kind of go away. And what we have in this main building is our hub of the entire motel court. This is one large building, and there is a gas station, restaurant, and living quarters above it. But let's kick things off with the gas station. And when it was run, it was most likely a full service gas station. So you'd pull in and the attendant would come out and fill your car up, add oil, water, what have you. You would do that under the awning so that the attendant would stay dry. And what's really cool about this awning is the concrete engraving is pretty intense on here, and it's held up. It's more than half a century old and it still looks really good. Inside, there's not a whole lot going on in here. There's some beautiful graffiti work done by local artists, and there's not a whole lot else because what was most likely in here was wooden shelves, a place for the attendants to sit, because the customers didn't come in here and shop. The attendant waited in here for customers to come out. If they needed something, they'd come in and get it back out there to them. And this is attached to the bigger building, which is going to house on the first floor here. You can see the dining hall or the diner. You can even see where the coolers and cooks would have they'll pass through under the bottom. You didn't want the wall there in the way. They'd hand it through to the waitresses who would take it out to the tables around there. They served the local community, not just people traveling, but it offered up a good place to get a hot meal or a cold meal, I guess, if you wanted cereal and a sandwich, something like that. But the floor above it was most likely the living quarters for staff members. So the gas station attendant probably stayed up here. They had an access to a stairwell to that side, and the other side was probably for the manager of the restaurant to stay. That way they were close by, and which was kind of cool to see what's left of this. I mean, it's in pretty bad shape, but you know, it is what it is. But for the age, it's pretty surprisingly well held together. Now, what I was surprised by with this main building was the basement in the back. There was a rear entry and to a cellar, which is most likely what it was treated as back in the time that it was being operated. What's down there? Not a whole lot. I didn't go much further than we did in this video because one, I'm scared of the dark. I'm not really scared of the dark, but my drone is definitely scared of the dark. It has a hard time seeing when it's that dark, which is why I'm working on a lighting system for it. But that's kind of what's left of these buildings. What used to be here, and thanks to images from the blog that Josh Whitehead did years ago, we can still see on the left-hand side of the building where there used to be the service center, and you can kind of see now it's gone and it's a thing of the past. And same thing for the hotel on the right. You can see where or the motel rather, you can see where the motel was, and then now you can see that it is essentially gone. Which, you know, to reiterate as a previous video, this is one of the reasons I do these, is because eventually everything in here will most likely be gone, and this would be the only way to go back and see what used to be here. But if you were doing like in the 1950s what we're doing now, where you're making a last stop on your way through the Mississippi Delta, I hope you enjoyed your time here at the Journey Court Motel, because our next stop is Tunica, Mississippi. And if you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed here, because we're going to get right into that one. It'll be coming very soon. Hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you in that one.